and welcome to the 52 Coffees podcast. I am Cindee Williams, your host, and I am so thankful that you are here today. Have we got a fun guest for you? Every week, we interview extraordinary women who are living exceptional lives, who are achieving their dreams. And today, I want you to know, before we even get started, that the 52 Coffees podcast is sponsored by Lead My Life, which is a dynamic community and coaching platform for women who are ready to unlock the life of their dreams. And if you want to know more, go to leadmylife.com. But today, I want to introduce you to our guest, who is a friend of mine, who is one of our amazing community members of Lead My Life. We love having her on here. She is a lifelong learner. And I am so excited to introduce you. And this is Colleen Bauer. And she has been on this amazing journey of health and wellness. And so I just want to introduce you, Colleen, and we want to know a little bit about your story, how you got into this.
Well, thank you for having me. My name's Colleen, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my background. First of all, I'm a mother of 3 boys. I am a wife and a grandma of 7 granddaughters. So that's a pretty busy life already. So there's a lot of people I care about. The beginning of the health journey actually started when I was a new mom, a very, very young mom. And I remembered that growing up, a lot of the food wasn't real healthy. So I was determined that my children would be raised on more natural foods, just healthier foods. So I was on a quest at that point to get in women's groups. We cooked together, we traded recipes. So it started a long, long time ago. Life does get busy. So I want to say I get that. I lived that. So there are corners that we cut, especially when we have kids. A lot of the moms out there understand that. You try not to, you make things ahead, but it gets a little crazy. So my journey started a long time ago, just raising my kids and being aware of health needs, growing up kind of in the unhealthiness of the 70s and the quick, both parents working a lot. So that was the start of actually my quest. I became a teacher and interpreter for the deaf through the years. And in that time, getting a little bit older, my parents were getting a little bit older. So it came to a point, even after searching several different supplements and things to keep my personal family that was under my roof healthy, I started thinking about beyond that when I got a phone call about my dad being very sick. And that just broke my heart. So that's the beginning of my health journey. At the time, I was a teacher and an interpreter when things kind of turned for me because of my dad.
You know, such a powerful story. I think we all can relate to that in some way, especially as we enter, into our 50s and 60s, and we're kind of in the sandwich generation, right? We've got our
Yeah.
kids and we're taking care of parents. But one thing that really hit home to me that you said just right at the beginning is you started off just wanting the best foods for your kids, wanting health and wellness. We have these little babies that we bring home and we just want to just keep them healthy. And it's hard because what the world gives us and the grocery store gives us is just all this packaged food. And then you start getting into a rush and you cut corners. You don't want to, but you got to get to soccer practice and you got to get, your daughter to ballet and you got to do all these things. And so, it's just easier to go through the drive-through, or it's just easier to, grab a Lunchable or something like that. So that, we don't want to. And it's just learning to be intentional. And then as we get older, like you said, we start seeing the health challenges in our parents. And so how did that pivot for you with your dad? How did that play out?
About 2012 actually was when that phone call came, and my dad was always the rock of the family. We always went there. He always helped you out, had the answers, encouraged you in school, checked my homework. He always brought the food, not always the healthy food, but it's like Dad, ask dad. So many of us have that, or we have someone that plays that role. And this was my stepdad, but he raised me from a very, very young age, and he was my dad. So I got the call, and I had heard of a company that was backed by science because, again, I will just say, Dad always said, who's your source? Why are you writing that? Where does that source come from? And I was privileged to be at a dinner with some pretty amazing people. I had no idea their all the letters, the ABCs behind their name and things at the time, but it was so impactful that there was this little supplement that was published and that had backing by science. And I thought, okay, I'm going to call the lady that is a friend of a friend of a. And I said, what do you think? And she says, I'm going to be out there. Let's do this. So I went ahead and got my dad some, and I drove to San Diego and I said, take this. It's all natural. Let's see what it does. It was really important to get it into him. And I will say, previous to that, I had it in a couple other family members close to me up here in this area. But I hadn't taken it yet because I was pretty healthy. So, I mean, what did I need it for? So I took it to dad, and within weeks, he was calling me saying, get me some more of that. Get me some more of that. Okay. We were able to, that's how it pivoted, because I'm like, And then a neighbor, I'm just going to add this, and a neighbor came down with her husband. She had fallen off a ladder painting her house, and she was in casts in a wheelchair. And my same friend that was helpful with my dad said, this may help her too. I believe it will. In 3 days, she called me and says, Colleen, and she cried. And I just said, that's it. Something is here. I'm going to look into it. So I started looking a little more into the science behind this all natural product. And that was definitely something I knew I would put in my body forever and tell all my friends about. So that's where it pivoted as far as the products and the health behind it. So about 2012. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a journey, 12 years of expertise. But one of the things that I have always enjoyed about you is that you are a researcher. I know I always tell you that, but you don't take anything at face value. You dig deep. You love looking at the science part. And, I'm more of a visionary, and the science just kind of, flies right over my head. And it's like, okay, if Colleen says it, it's good. That's more my personality. But the fact that you've done the homework and you've looked at it, you see the proof of concept in your dad, and just from knowing I know that you've seen it in your husband, and now in yourself, and in all the clients and customers that you served. So how did you take this forward? Okay, so now you're seeing it work. You're seeing lives being changed. You see the longevity of your dad extended. How did you take that forward?
I have to tell you, just when you said it right now in that question, when something is new and you feel this passion, like this is different, you get excited and you just start babbling to everybody. You just start talking to everybody. Working at a school, and it was a private school, we were pretty close. We talked a lot. You knew who was sick and who was out, and if their kids were sick. And I just took a deep breath and said, Lord, if they're supposed to have this, they'll know. And within 3 months, there was about 50 people that my partner and I at the time were helping, because it changed her life as well. She had one of my very first partners in 2012 that jumped in because of health. She knew a lot of people, and they saw her change and her have energy and just be able to stay awake all day. She couldn't sleep. So just seeing her, and I didn't know this about my teacher partner here, and seeing that and other people seeing it, we just started telling the world. We went as many times as we could to listen to Dr. McCord, who is actually the grandfather, they call him of the enzyme in our body that brings down oxidation and inflammation. So we wanted to know more about that. And we drove an hour here, an hour there to get the information and just pass it on because of the excitement. When anything's new, you know how your car's new or whatever's new. Well, this was like new information, and we really felt passionate at that time. So we just opened our mouths, and within a few months, it was like, who else do I tell?
Right, right. You want to shout it from the rooftops because you know it works. And a lot of times, sales is one thing, but really it's serving. When you have
Yeah.
something that's incredible, you can't not tell somebody. It's like you're doing a disservice. You're not being true to yourself if you're not telling people and trying to get this product into as many people as possible. Now, I know from working with you that a big component of this is inflammation. And I know in the early 2000s, I found out, I have fibromyalgia, I have all these autoimmune diseases, things going on in my body, and inflammation was the cause of that. Put that under control, and then back, in just a couple of years ago, the inflammation, all that stuff started coming back. So let's talk about inflammation, because I feel like that's kind of the key. That's the core of something that we all suffer from on different levels. So let's address that.
Address the inflammation in the
That's
room,
the
right?
inflammation. Yeah,
That's
the
kind of how
elephant
I
in the
put it.
room. Yeah.
And most everyone in a room, no matter who you're talking to, all adults will say, oh, my knee, my head, my gut, headaches, migraines, different types of cancers. If you look these up, they all go back to some sort of inflammation in our
Right.
bodies. I hadn't even thought of that when I was younger. I mean, inflammation is linked to hundreds and hundreds of diseases and just ailments. And we want to mitigate the things like a sprained ankle or a pulled knee, anything, a muscle or something. So those we can mitigate with an ice pack, with different things. And a lot of people are turning to turmeric and different inflammation activators, they call them, out there in the supplement category. So what they found in 2009, and why we talk a lot about inflammation, is because this product that was our flagship product in our company, it's called Protandim, and it's an NRF2, which can be explained at a different time when you have a few hours. But what it is, it's a pathway in our body that clears out the oxidative stress, which is inflammation. So as we age, of course, that pathway is just bombarded with how we work. I mean, hairdressers, imagine what they deal with every day. We pump our own gas. The foods we eat are sprayed. Even if they're not sprayed, they're in the store getting all kinds of crazy stuff, landing on them. And you could go on and on about inflammation and how it comes about and how it's around us. Even technology, inflammation. A lot of people get more headaches and more anxieties, and that's inflammation. A lot of times they're finding it's in your gut, but it's also in your brain. You're trying to kind of mitigate these things with your foods and that. So what they found, and why I stuck with this particular supplement, is because we are patented and we are published on pubmed.gov, which is like Google for doctors and researchers. They can go there and put in NRF2, inflammation, Protandim, whatever they want, and you'll come to our 23 studies. It's almost unheard of to have so many studies about one product. And inflammation specifically, there's some diseases that are mentioned. I won't mention them here, but I can give you the information where you can go and research that yourself. But the first 5 are showing how this one product that's 5 all natural ingredients has taken down inflammation. And we can say by 40% in 30 days because they have proof of that in science. So that's where I got really excited when I started hearing that. And I, sure enough, went to pubmed.gov and I looked at the studies. I didn't read them because I don't understand all the science, but you could read kind of the cliff notes of it and get what it's doing. So,
Yeah, powerful. With something that you said, it just kind of stuck in my mind is that you can sprain your ankle, or break a leg or so. You see the swelling, you see the inflammation, it's visible.
mhm.
But we have inflammation inside our body, especially just starting in our gut health. That's like the center of everything. And it's shown not visually, but in the symptoms that we start to feel, the cloudy thinking, the headaches, just not feeling well in our gut. And so I do believe, like what you said, inflammation is kind of the key. And if we can get that, and how this product is almost clears it out, it activates your cells, is what you've taught me, and it just makes sense. It uses your body to heal itself. So you want to talk on that a little bit? Did I say that right?
It does. Yes, that's a great intro. It's like our body's a factory, is the way I heard it a long time ago. And being an interpreter, I see things in pictures like that. So it made so much sense. When you go home for the day or you sleep, you turn off everything and it kind of goes dark, and that's the resting time. But if somebody doesn't come in and flip that switch, the factory won't come back on. Or if there's too much going on and you blow a fuse here and there, all the lights aren't coming on. So you might get a few, it might be dim. So thinking of it like that, there's always something going on in our body, and our body is always fighting it. That's why we do antioxidants. And one lady brought in this bag of razors that were infused with antioxidants. That's how much people are looking for inflammation reducers, supposedly inflammation reducing when you're shaving or something. That was the craziest thing I've seen on inflammation. I mean, I've heard a lot of it, but that was crazy. I looked in the store, couldn't find them. But so because this is the basic, I like to tell people that there are a lot of products, but this one product, tried and true and published and backed by science, is quite amazing if you look into it. And it's one little yellow pill, they call it. And yeah, that is what we can say. And in 90 days to take down your inflammation by 70%. I will say, and I tell my customers and clients, whoever I'm talking to, some aren't necessarily customers. I work with a lot of older people too on their health right now. And I tell them, you've got to move. You've got to eat a little bit better, make a few more choices until those are natural and normal for you and comfortable. And that will help anything else you're doing. So if you're going to take supplements or whatever you're taking, you really need to look at some other things, because that means to me that you're serious, that you want some change or you want to be healthy. So you need to add to that. You kind of add to your backpack, add some good diet, lifestyle changes, movement, less internet, less TV, less stress.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, because that was going to be my next question, is that we can take the pill, right? The supplement, which
Mhm.
does great and helps to reduce inflammation. But we also have to make some other changes in our life, because otherwise it's like going to In-N-Out Burger and getting the triple
Mm.
decker with French fries and then getting a Diet Coke. It's like you've kind of got to make some, changes all around. And we know that it's just little changes. It's just something small that you could do, start, and then take baby steps every single day, and movement is key. I love that you added that in. I just, as an example, I mean, I love movement. I love going outdoors, but I discovered with this pre-diabetes diagnosis that I got, the walking is key. So just low, low impact, moderation, just walking. Just being, if you can't walk very far, just try walking to the end of the block and then make it a little bit longer, and just keep adding to it. But I love that you added in the movement, and there does have to be some change in lifestyle. They go hand in hand. Yeah, it's beautiful. Talk about you have some new products coming out within your company that have to do with losing weight. And so we're talking about moving, we're talking about maybe making some adjustments to your diet, talking about adding supplements to reduce inflammation. How might being able to lose some weight, take a few pounds off, be able to help you on your health journey?
Well, another new one for me, because my least favorite class in high school was biology. I didn't mind the paperwork or writing the papers, so I'd always partner with somebody that was willing to do the ooey gooey stuff. And it just didn't seem like my cup of tea. So thinking about it and learning about different things in our body is almost new to me. It's like we get the skeleton of it, and we get everything we need for our body and how it works in general. But there are hormones with all kinds of names, and there's one called the GLP-1, and that really helps. It's the messenger that tells your body how to break down the sugar in the food that you're eating. Now, if you're eating a lot of sugar and you're eating a lot of carbohydrates that turn into sugar, it's going to be harder for you. So there's definitely some lifestyle changes with that. This GLP-1 hormone also tells your pancreas how much and how to make insulin. So it's kind of the brain, a little brain hormone, it feels like, for your gut. And it's made way down deep at the end, near your colon. And I'd never heard of it before. You've probably seen commercials about all these, I won't say the names of them, but they're dancing around and they're wanting to lose weight. Those are injections, and those are not all natural ingredients in them to wake up our own GLP-1. Now, I just turned 60 this year. And so as you age, and they all say that as you age, your body makes less and less of these hormones, less and less of a lot of things. Like with the Protandim, what we do to fight off inflammation, our body makes less of that. So we need to encourage it, give it a little boost here, fuel up, make some more. Same thing with this GLP-1. So I guess the best way to say it, it's waking up your digestive tract. So I just started it a week ago, and I'm pretty excited. I feel good, feel less bloated. That was huge for me. I always feel like I'm pretty healthy because I talk to a lot of people that have so many things going on. And I mean, really hard things for doctors to figure out. So I always think that, but we have our aches and pains, and we don't, like you mentioned, we don't see everything. So my goal is always to make sure that like my gut's healthy. And when you and we have a little group going that we started for accountability, we started saying, let's be intentional. So I'm just going to tell the viewers, be intentional, pay attention. Are you getting headaches when you're on the computer? Are you getting headaches every morning when you wake up? That's not normal. What does your gut feel like? So I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to be transparent here. My gut was bloated. I have trouble with that. I can eat nothing. I can eat just vegetables. Doesn't matter. I just felt like I was struggling with that. And they want to give you a pill. I'm a refuser of most pills. And because I felt like I was healthy. So I'm always looking, okay, doctor, I don't want to, tell anybody don't listen, because I do listen, but what about this? And sometimes you'll get somebody that will say, oh, let me take a look at that. It's all natural. It's not going to hurt you. Love when a doctor says that. So our products are mostly, a doctor will say, I don't know what that is, but there's nothing in it that'll hurt you. So that's positive for me from a doctor.
Yeah.
And we're just learning more and more about this new product. I do have a friend and she's online, so she's given us permission to use her information. And she is down 16 pounds in 6 weeks, and it has changed her life. And if you're interested in her video and her journey, I can send that to you.
I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll give it to Cindee and she can get that to you. It's just something that's changing people's lives without the side effects. The side effects, and also, I know it's a little bit long on this product, but you don't have to stay on it forever. You're not going to gain the weight back. You're going to change things in your body. What we've heard from the doctors and the researchers is that for maintenance, you could maybe take it 2 to 3 times a week, rather than every day once you've lost the weight, if you're using it for weight loss. So there's some exciting things that are still to come. And our science is out. It's patent pending. Everything's on my website. The reports, the science, people's stories.
Yeah, I love it. I love that things are backed up by research and science. You know, one of the things, and maybe we can close with this, is that with our health, a lot of times we don't know that we're feeling bad because we're just so used to how we're feeling. We're used to waking up in the morning with headaches, so we don't really think anything of it. We're used to not feeling right in our gut, to always being bloated. We're used to being sluggish and being tired. And we give I'm going to be bold and just call it an excuse, because I believe it turns into that, no, you know what? I'm just over 50. Oh, it's one of the pauses, right? But you don't have to live your life like that. You don't have to continue on. I think once you start feeling better, you realize how bad you felt. Once you start moving towards health, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I stayed stuck like that for so long. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that, because that is me. I'm always helping someone else, seeing, because you can find somebody that's doing better than you and healthier than you, or you can find somebody that's struggling with something in their life, whether it's physical or mental, or breathing in too many fumes and having headaches. So we can find that, but if we're not paying attention, I don't know how you're feeling. I don't know exactly. I don't know how anybody around me is feeling. All I can do is direct them, but I know how I'm feeling. And like you said, over the week, I was shocked, just starting, because I've been changing things for about 2 months now, what I eat, being very intentional. And then I'm like, gosh, I see a little bit of change. I feel a little bit better. My sleeping's better. And then this product came out, and within a week, the gut felt so much better. I couldn't even believe the bloating within like 3 or 4 days. Now, I have to warn you, when you're doing natural things and moving and even eating differently, your body will detox quite a bit, a little bit to quite a bit. And so I also would say to the viewers and whoever's interested in knowing a little more, get a group. You need some people around you. Journal. I journal every day now what's going on for the last 2 months, because I don't want to take a medication. I'm kind of on that. I'm not going to take the medication. I'm going to, test things myself. And as long as it's coming down, I'm doing good. What else can I do? But stress reduction, whether that's going to a spa, if you have your own spa at home, or area that you like to go and sit and read, journaling, and in that community. The community is important. And that's really encouraged me this last week, seeing the community that started this weight loss. But a lot of them were not needing weight loss, and they're finding so many other things, and a lot of it's gut health. And so I'm pretty excited to see what's going to be happening in the next few months,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
No,
in
it's
friends and
powerful.
colleagues.
Yeah, I love that you brought up bringing community around you, because when we try to do things alone, it's, when we start having a bad day, it's easy just to revert back to our old ways. But having people around us to gird us up, it really keeps pushing us forward.
Right.
So I love that you brought that up. Well, Colleen, it has been, I love chatting about this. I could go on and on. I love talking about
I
health.
know.
Because it's made such a major impact in my life. I would just say, because you brought up medications and how you don't want to go back to that. In the early 2000s, when I first started developing all these autoimmune issues, it was medication after medication. And then there's a medication to counteract the symptoms of it was just this chain until I started to have the whole box. I'm in my 30s and taking all this medicine. And I finally said, it's gone, and just went to more holistic, started seeing a naturopath. Um, and I'm still on that vein today, but what happened was I started allowing stress back into my life. And when we start doing that, so it's a whole approach. You've got to address the stress. You've got to have a mechanism, a plan for that, for movement, all of it together, and just have good natural products, which is what you have. And I've been taking them the last couple of years, definitely seen a difference in my life. So I thank you for all
Thank
that
you.
you do. Give us your website, so we can reach out to you if we have questions, or your email address, or whatever you would like to, a way for us to contact you.
Okay, well, the website is CCB well, the word well, lifevantage.com. And you can click there. You should see my picture. And I'll just give you my email too. It's, what is my email? See, I just said my
It's
website.
info,
It's
info
info at Colleen.health. And that's Colleen, COLLEEN.health.
Yes,
So either way,
yeah, get in
you
touch
can
with
leave
me.
me an email on my website as well. There's a way to message me there as well. So
Oh, wonderful. So if any of you have questions about these wonderful products that are changing lives, please reach out to Colleen. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. Always love to talk with you. And
thank you
we
for
will
having me.
see you next week. If you enjoyed what you heard today, make sure you subscribe, and we hope you have a beautiful week. Take care, my friends. Bye.